Great to have your company. See you next time on The Chase Australia.
Tonight, a Sydney man found guilty of plotting to bring down a passenger plane with a bomb hidden in a meat grinder. Justice for Justine. American policeman Mohammed Noor found guilty of the Sydney woman's murder. Stormwater tragedy. Council negligence blamed for the drowning of an 11-year-old boy. Campaign chaos. 9 candidates drop out as the federal election campaign gets messy. Venezuela violence. The military rolls in, crushing protesters as the people rise up against the president. And a relaxed Wayne Bennett wins the pre-match mind games ahead of the grudge match of the year.
Live from our Sydney headquarters, this is 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. It was a terror plot that struck fear into the hearts of Sydney airline passengers. A bomb hidden in a meat grinder to bring down an Etihad flight out of Mascot. Today, a jury found the mastermind guilty. The plot only failed because the hand luggage containing the bomb was too heavy.
Supporters of the Kayet brothers united in silence for a family divided.
What was your reaction to the verdict?
Older sibling Khaled found guilty of plotting a terror attack, but the jury is yet to reach a verdict for his co-accused, younger brother Mahmoud.
He's not on good terms with his brother, for obvious reasons.
That's because Mahmoud denies being part of the plan Khaled was convicted of today to blow up a July 2017 Etihad Airlines flight from Sydney to Abu Dhabi with a bomb hidden inside a meat grinder. But the bomb was too heavy to be carried aboard and the plot was called off. The court was told they then planned a poison gas attack instead. 2 weeks later, police found part of the bomb in Khaled's garage. While Khaled will be sentenced on July 26th, Mahmoud will be back in court tomorrow, still awaiting the verdict of the jurors as they enter a 4th day of deliberations.
Under very tough circumstances, he's struggling with the emotions, but he's been very strong.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
A former American police officer has been found guilty of murdering Sydney woman Justine Damon-Ruzcek in a Minneapolis laneway in 2017. Mohammed Noor claims self-defence after he shot Justine through the window of his patrol car, but the jury did not believe him. Our US correspondent Paul Kadak was there for the verdict.
His final steps as a free man, Mohammed Noor arrived at court to learn his fate. Justine Damon-Ruzcek's family and her fiancé also hurrying in when, after 24 hours, the jury said they'd reached a verdict. Noor was found not guilty of the most serious murder charge, but guilty of third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. Don Damon was in tears, so was Noor's wife, sitting in the same row of the public gallery. Mohammed Noor did not react, remaining still and silent.
The jury has returned a verdict of guilty on murder 3 and manslaughter 2. We are satisfied with the outcome.
Her fiancé said Justine died trying to help someone else.
Ironically, the Minneapolis Police Department emblem on the squad door reads, "To protect with courage and to serve with compassion." Where were these values that night?
Noor was immediately handcuffed and led away. He faces up to 25 years in jail, but could serve less than 10. Among those closely following this trial have been police departments right across the United States. It is a very rare thing for an American police officer to be charged and convicted of killing someone after an on-duty shooting. And it is the first time it has ever happened here in the state of Minnesota.
This welcome conviction will not bring Justine back. However, we celebrate that some form of justice has occurred this week.
Others claim Noor was convicted because of his race.
This isn't fair. This isn't justice.
And it's about race?
It's about race, for sure.
Mohammed Noor will be sentenced in June. In Minneapolis, Paul Kadak, 7 News.
The family of Ryan Teasdale has lived through a nightmare. Their young boy killed in a freak stormwater drain accident while playing in heavy rain. Today, a coroner handed down the findings into his death, calling for a major overhaul of the state's stormwater inlets.
In his mother's own words, he was kind, caring and generous. Ryan Teasdale liked to laugh. and make others smile.
Ryan was a very affectionate boy. He loved showing you how important you were to him and gave the most amazing cuddles.
Ryan was only 11 when he died doing what kids do, having fun. Lured with his boogie board like many others to Riley Park at Unanderra near Wollongong during heavy rains in March 2017. Ryan was sucked into a stormwater drain and wasn't found until the next morning, swept 800 metres underground to a nearby creek. It's very clear to me that Ryan was an adored member of his family. The loss of a child is always tragic, and to lose such a treasured person in these circumstances is heartbreaking, the coroner said.
I don't think that it should take anyone's life to cause us to address the issue.
But the council did. The drain has now been fixed. The coroner recommended the tragic circumstances surrounding Ryan's death be brought to the attention to all councils across the state, and for stormwater drains to be inspected and fixed if necessary as a matter of urgency. But it will cost a lot of money to make safe.
Not a day goes by that we don't think of Ryan, our cuddly little koala, our Rai, the boy with the heart of gold.
But then again, how can you put a price on a life? Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
The election campaign is descending into chaos. 9 candidates across 3 parties have now been dumped. Scott Morrison has backed the Liberals' vetting system as an embarrassing preferences gaffe by Labor makes an old controversy new again.
I have a message for the victim.
On YouTube, supporting a woman whose historical accusations of rape against Labor leader Bill Shorten were dismissed by police in 2014.
The reason why I believe you is that it actually happens a lot in Australia.
But Miss Van Lieshout is now standing as an independent against Labor's Jed Carney in the new Melbourne seat of Cooper. And 7 News can reveal in an extraordinary oversight, Labor is preferencing her above the Liberals' Andrew Bell.
The male gender is not morally fit to be politicians.
As Jeremy Hearn, Liberal hopeful for Victoria's Isaacs, is dumped after an online rant emerged of him attacking Muslims as people of bad character.
The Liberal Party is riddled with right-wing extremists.
If any issues are raised, we'll deal with them swiftly.
And Mr Hearn...
No, I'm not interested in talking to the media. Not at all. I'm recovering from surgery. Goodbye.
Both sides now beset by own goals. Liberal candidate for Wills, Peter Killen, also resigning today over homophobic comments he made about gay Liberal MP Tim Wilson. And another Labor candidate, Luke Creasy, in the seat of Melbourne, apologising for sharing an online joke about rape. Both leaders would be furious that such a lack of basic research by the parties has left them exposed at such a critical time on the campaign. But they're not the only ones facing candidate controversies. Pauline Hanson, having lost Senate candidate Steve Dixon to sleaze, now challenged to dump Ross McDonald in Queensland's Leichhardt over a series of sexist posts.
The constant in the perils of Pauline has always been Pauline.
As Greens leader Richard Di Natale offers to revive the Gillard-era partnership with Labor to deliver climate change policy.
Again, repeat, no coalition with the Greens. Sorry, Richard, it's not happening.
I'm not surprised to hear the response from Bill Shorten today, but we hear that time and time again in the lead up to an election.
And at a seniors forum, Scott Morrison's asked,
"Can you nail the bastard in 3 weeks?"
Things are getting messy and nasty. Mark Riley, 7 News.
NRL player Tyrone May has faced court over allegations he recorded himself having sex with women, then shared the videos without their consent. The Penrith Panthers player remains sidelined while his case is heard, and another separate case is decided in the federal court.
The sex might have been consensual, but what Tyrone May is alleged to have done while engaged in the intimate moments with 2 different women was not.
What do you want to say to the women in those videos?
The 22-year-old is facing 2 charges of recording intimate images without consent and 2 more of distributing images without consent in February and May last year.
Did you think it was all right having those sort of videos on your phone?
At his first appearance since being charged in March, the Panthers playmaker's lawyer told the magistrate they are negotiating with prosecutors with hopes of reaching a plea deal.
Fairly humiliating for those women. Do you have any message for them?
May was stood down under the NRL's new no-fault policy, automatic while any criminal charges play out in court.
But for fans who want to see May back in action, their focus won't just be here at Penrith Local Court. They'll be sweating on a judgment due to be handed down in the federal court, possibly as early as this week.
St George's Jack de Belin challenged his ban last month, with a federal court judge expected to hand down her decision this week. If the NRL's policy is overturned, that could see several suspended players, including May, back in the game, even before their charges are resolved in court. Evan Batten, 7 News.
Police are searching for a man wanted over the indecent assault of a woman at an Inner West massage parlour in June last year. Security video shows the man entering the Camperdown premises before being taken into a private room. It's there, police say, he went too far.
The respect of that woman has been violated. The lady's very distressed in relation to it. She continues to be upset about the matter and wishes for us to continue with our investigation.
Anyone who recognises the man should contact Crime Stoppers. A young Australian cricketer has been jailed in the UK for 5 years for raping a sleeping woman. Alex Hepburn had set up a sex competition between friends at the time, which the judge described as pathetic and sexist.
The last moments of freedom for Alex Hepburn.
Alex, anything you wanted to say before you go in? Any message to your victim?
Supported by his father and girlfriend, the former promising young cricketer entered court knowing he was about to go to jail. After 2 years and 2 trials, last month the jury found him guilty of raping a woman sleeping in the room of his flatmate, fellow cricketer Joe Clark. At the time they were playing for the Worcestershire County Club, and Hepburn had organised a game among mates to see who could have sex with the most women. The judge was scathing. You probably thought it was laddish behaviour at the time. In truth, it was foul sexism. It demeaned women and trivialised rape. Hepburn's lawyer told the court he was genuinely sorry and believed the sex was consensual, but the judge sentenced him to 5 years prison, saying sex is never something a man does to a woman, arrogantly assuming her consent. That is rape. His victim said it was the most evil act anyone could go through. But despite ruining her life, it was Hepburn in tears as he was led away by prison guards. After the sentence, the judge made a point of praising the victim for her bravery in coming forward against a well-known man and risking public scrutiny, and also persisting with the case through 2 trials. Now her attacker is behind bars and will be on the sex offenders register for the rest of his life. In Hereford, Laurel Irving, 7 News.
A great-grandmother from East Maitland has died in a helicopter crash in Hawaii. Jan Burgess was in the helicopter when it clipped power lines and slammed into a busy street, bursting into flames. Witnesses raced in to help.
Neighbours were doing a heroic job trying to put out the fire and also trying to get the patients away from the burning aircraft.
Miss Burgess was one of 3 people to die in the accident. They're in our lives every day and taking billions from our pockets every year, and Google and Facebook are laughing all the way to the bank. The tech giants have lodged their latest Australian financials, and despite a government clampdown, they continue to pay next to no tax.
At Facebook's annual conference, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announces its biggest shake-up in 5 years, a colour change from blue to white and a move away from public posting.
That the future is private.
Just as his company's tax records here were made very public. Facebook took almost $600 million in Australia last year, but paid just $12 million in tax. Likewise, Google. It raked in $4.3 billion. Tax, just $49 million.
How can this be? I'm sick and tired of big multinationals.
But the reality is the tax office is struggling to take its cut.
These companies are making a lot of money out of what they're doing in Australia and should be paying more tax.
Experts say they do it by keeping costs high to minimise profits and channeling revenue offshore to low-tax Singapore. From Facebook, we comply with applicable tax laws, while Google invested almost $1 billion in our Australian operation. On top of today's tax revelations, Google's results also reveal that the company is still locked in its ongoing battle with the ATO over its last tax hit back in 2017. How much that one's worth still hasn't been revealed. And the future?
Look, I'm not optimistic that there's going to be huge change.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
Venezuela is a nation in chaos tonight, with soldiers and opposition forces clashing on the streets over who should lead their country. President Nicolas Maduro is trying to hang on to power, but the opposition leader has the backing of many Western nations, including Australia.
Protesters flood the streets of Caracas, demanding an end to Nicolas Maduro's rule. Military, still backing the president, responded with brutal force, tear gas, bullets, bulldozing crowds of rebels. It started at dawn, the man leading the uprising, Juan Guaidó, describing this as the beginning of the end for Maduro, saying the armed forces are clearly on our side and calling on the people to march the streets. Two hostile opponents, each claiming to be president of a nation in political and economic turmoil. Only one is being recognised as a legitimate leader on the world stage.
This is an act of bravery by Guaidó and others, really for the freedom of the Venezuelan people.
President Trump tweeting support for the people of Venezuela and their freedom. But this is power Maduro's not giving up without a fight. Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Bolstered by its success in the recent state election, the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party is wasting no time flexing its muscle. 7 News can reveal the party already has its sights on repealing the controversial lockout laws when Parliament returns next week.
Police, politicians, businesses and protesters have been at loggerheads over lockout laws ever since they were brought in to curb drunken violence.
We don't want a nanny state!
Now the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party is preparing to ambush Gladys Berejiklian over the issue.
I'm going to open with a particular bill, stop the lockouts. We're going to seek to repeal that.
And it may be successful. The government has lost control of the upper house and most of the crossbenchers support winding back the laws. Labor will consider it.
We are concerned about the nightlife in Sydney and the impact of the lockout laws, but we're also concerned for public safety. So we have to wait and see.
The bill would also have to pass the lower house, where the Premier just has the numbers. But there's also pressure from the Nationals to repeal the laws.
I've already had very constructive conversations with many of the crossbench who've reached out.
It's the Premier's first unpleasant upper house surprise, but it won't be the last. Even her captain's pick of Liberal John Ajaka for House President could come under attack.
It's not her purview to decide who the President's going to be. It's a matter for the members of the Legislative Council.
I think it's a little bit cheeky for the Premier to actually start to dictate to the upper house how things are going to be.
Sean Berry, 7 News.
Time now for a check on our weather. Brownie, it was a cloudy start to May.
Yeah, as forecast, Fergo, and a similar day is brewing tomorrow. Temperature-wise, low to mid-20s, saw in the first day of May right across the Sydney Basin. For the state, we had some patchy rain gradually contract towards the ranges this afternoon, easing just to some passing showers. That said, another band of rain is on the way. In fact, as we go to the south and earlier today, we're now tracking areas of rain just passing over the top of Albury-Wodonga. Our future radar has a mixture of rain and thunderstorms moving through tomorrow and gradually contracting all the way towards the northeast corner during Saturday. And of course, I'll have the weekend weather in detail. Top of the hour, Fergo.
Righto, David, thank you. A woman who escaped from a mental facility has faced court charged with stabbing a teacher. Next, how the victim is lucky to be alive following a frenzied school attack. Also, if you haven't had your flu jab, now's the time. The May Day push ahead of a potentially killer season. Synagogue terror, an accused teenage gunman faces court for a deadly attack. Road rage, the terrifying moment of police chase came to a dramatic end. And later, would you like to get paid to go shopping? We'll tell you how you can earn cash.
This is such a game changer.
It's the first ever early room reveal.
We need to win this.
Will it be the dream dressing room?
I honestly want Courtney to be in tears when walking in that room.
Or luxurious lounge that will win?
I love it.
With no idea too big. In the biggest transformation ever.
Have a look at this.
Wicked. Which room will win?
So the winning room is?
All new House Rules. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
You right?
Caring makes us do uncommon things, like connecting you to a network of leading medical specialists around the country for a second medical opinion at no extra cost. HCF. Uncommon care.
Make Mum's Day at Miller's, everything is $25 or less. New season looks now $25 or less. Knitwear $25 or less. Tops $25 or less. Pants $25 or less. Don't miss out, the entire store is $25 or less. Hurry on now.
Ozcar's 12-hour marathon is on this Thursday at our 2 used car mega centres. 800 cars, all 20% off. That's 20% off this Thursday from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Ozcar's 12-hour marathon at our 2 mega centres, Penrith and Landsvale.
I had a good time.
Yeah, me too.
Did someone say KFC?
BetEasy and Sky Racing Vision make it easy to raise your game. No matter where you are, you can bet and watch more thoroughbred greyhound and harness races live, all without leaving the app. Whatever the competition, it's easy to raise your game with BetEasy.
Have you ever wondered if the chicken you buy is raised in an RSPCA-approved farm? Because at Coles, we believe it should be.
But I believe it's the right way to go.
That's why all Coles brand fresh chicken is raised in an RSPCA-approved farm. So next time you're buying chicken to feed your family, remember, Coles fresh chicken isn't just 100% Aussie, it's raised in an RSPCA-approved farm as well. For delicious fresh chicken, good things are happening at Coles.
Nature has a way of getting the best out of me. It's been an inspiration for Swiss too. Since the 1960s, they've been combining a bounty of rich ingredients to help create formulas like Swiss Aldi Weiz. Because there's nothing quite like that feeling you get from making the most of life. Swiss, the quest continues.
Welcome back. A mother accused of stabbing a teacher with scissors at a Byron-based school will tonight remain behind bars. Karina Spiraney allegedly attacked Zane Vockler yesterday morning. The court heard the 28-year-old was lucky to be alive after sustaining wounds to his arm, face and behind his ear. The 31-year-old woman had escaped from a mental facility 2 weeks ago. She was refused bail and will return to court next month. And just hours after the Byron Bay Primary School went into lockdown, local dad and Hollywood star Chris Hemsworth turned up to help out in the canteen. The Thor actor was filmed by his wife preparing sushi rolls for students. Their 3 children all attend the school. It's only May the 1st, but almost 10,000 people have already been struck down by the flu in New South Wales so far this year. As we head into the colder months, health authorities are ramping up efforts to prevent another spike, offering free flu jabs for those most at risk.
Baby Dominic Vella is just 3 days old.
I always wait for the mums to ask.
Because as a newborn, he's at high risk of contracting the flu. That's why mum Melissa Vella was vaccinated before he was born.
I think it's very important to help protect myself and my babies.
Now these expectant mothers are lining up.
I've had it once and it's not what I want to have again.
Like pregnant women, children between 6 months and 5 years old are also eligible for free flu jabs. So are the over 65s and anyone with asthma, diabetes or heart disease.
Get your flu shot because flu can be a killer.
2017 was particularly bad, with around 100,000 reported cases and 650 deaths in New South Wales. Already this year, almost 10,000 people have contracted the illness.
We've distributed all of the first orders to GPs that across the state, so there should be vaccine in your GP surgeries.
And stocks will be replenished every day. It may sound like common sense, but health authorities are reminding us of the importance of good hygiene, washing your hands frequently, covering your mouth when you cough, and staying home from work and school can also stop the spread. Still soldiering on, the health minister battling his own flu.
And I have the tail end of it, so I'm struggling with that at the moment.
Jessica Ridley, 7 News.
A teenage white supremacist accused of a deadly synagogue attack in California has faced court for the first time. 19-year-old John Ernest showed no emotion as he pleaded not guilty to murder. 60-year-old Laurie Kay died when the gunman opened fire on worshippers. The brief court appearance came as his victim was laid to rest. A dangerous police chase in Florida has been caught on dashcam, including the moment it came to a dramatic end. Officers rammed the stolen ute, causing it to roll several times. Once the dust settled, police with guns drawn moved in to arrest the 22-year-old driver who was seriously hurt. A new era has begun in Japan as Crown Prince Naruhito became the country's 126th emperor at the stroke of midnight. The 59-year-old ascended to the chrysanthemum throne following the historic abdication of his father. The transfer of power ushers in the Reiwa imperial era, which stands for beautiful harmony. The much-anticipated grudge match between Souths and the Broncos is now just 24 hours away. Mel McLaughlin's here, and Mel, the spotlight remains firmly on the coaches.
It certainly does, Fergo, and there's no love lost between Wayne Bennett and Anthony Seibold, and one has bristled a bit more than the other. Coming up, hear from both head coaches, including the blunt reaction to the suggestion a Bronco may head south. Also coming up, details of the crucial role John Morris has played in nurturing Cronulla's rising stars and how they are reaping the rewards. And highlights galore in Steve Smith's IPL farewell, including a hand in one of the most epic hat tricks ever. You've got to see this one, Fergo. Massive scalps.
Looking forward to it. Good on you, Mel. Thank you. A heavily tattooed man called Butch has been freed on bail after being accused of making online threats. Next, the Sydney nightclub boss he's accused of harassing. Also, towering fears why these climbers sparked panic in the city. What were they really up to? Aussie shame, boys behaving badly in Bali. You won't believe what they get up to. And the life-changing drug promising to be a game changer for youngsters with MS. That's next.
I'm Sean.
I'm Lisa.
Twins, 15. Didn't come home after a night out. I want you to get down there, talk to the family.
I'm Detective Sergeant Armstrong.
This is Sean, my husband. This is Lisa. She's from the police.
Jess can't find out.
You need to tell me the truth. You need to know where you were.
I was with you.
Sean Meredith remains our main suspect.
I had nothing to do with it. I'm the dad.
The stunning new event drama, The Bay, tonight after House Rules on 7.
Have you ever wondered about the beef you buy? Well, you needn't wonder when you buy Coles brand fresh beef, because it's all 100% Aussie with no added hormones, 100% of the time. Because I believe more naturally grown beef creates better quality beef.
Guaranteed quality from the farmer.
100% Aussie, 100% no added hormones.
Good beef doesn't need hormones.
100% delicious, 100% of the time. Good things are happening at Coles.
It's on now, the Caravan Camping Holiday Super Show at Rosehill Racecourse. Check out thousands of products and find out what's new. But hurry, show ends this Sunday. Visit supershow.com.au.
If our family wasn't making Maver's peanut butter for all Australians, we'd be making it for ourselves. Just roast and crush fresh peanuts and add a dash of salt. It's nothing but goodness. Good morning!
There's a lot of lifting and carrying in my day, and I often end up with a really sore back.
Use the power of Neuromol to relieve strong pain. Neuromol combines Nurofen and paracetamol in just one tablet that lasts up to 8 hours. For strong pain, switch to Neuromol.
Is your beef free from added hormones? Because all Coles brand fresh beef is.
So you can enjoy Coles delicious tender beef quick cook steaks. They're 100% Aussie and just $5 a pack.
Good things are happening at Coles.
Welcome back. A man who filmed himself trying to confront nightclub owner John Ibrahim has been arrested. Mohammed Houcher is accused of threatening a number of high-profile people, bragging he almost killed someone with a microwave plate in jail. Today he was granted bail but banned from social media.
For a man with a lot to say.
Can you tell us about the posts?
What post?
Mohammed Houcher wasn't talking about this video.
This was the intercom, yeah? John! Habib! It's my boat!
Outside John Ibrahim's mansion, Houcher demanded money.
Oh, he's not answering. Come on, John, answer me.
But when he did, The 37-year-old couldn't hide his excitement, going for a handshake but rejected. The video drew the attention of the police anti-bikie Strikeforce Raptor, allegedly finding a number of posts threatening violence against Ibrahim, boxer Danny Green and gangsters Bilal and Bassem Hamzy. In one image, he's accused of pasting their photos onto screenshots of mafia murders. Another bizarre rant directed at Green: "I want revenge. I want to have a street fight with you outside my dad's house. I'm coming for you."
Do you still want to fight Danny Green?
Well, if you want to have a crack, already, eh?
With a history of violence, Houcher was charged with publishing indecent articles. Police argued because of his inflammatory posts, Houcher was a risk to the community. He was only granted bail on the condition he limit what he posts online. Unfazed by allegedly threatening Sydney's underworld, today he had only one concern.
I'm hungry. Can I just be left alone, please?
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
Disgusting, obscene and insulting. That's the way the behaviour of a group of Australians holidaying in Bali has been described. The young men were recorded running naked through the streets, hurling insults at drivers and hanging out of a moving vehicle.
They're the stereotypical group of young Aussies behaving badly in Bali. With music blaring from their party bus, the friends tear through the streets, abusing locals, relieving themselves in public, and generally acting like idiots.
Do it naked, it's not funny.
Filmed by their Balinese tour guide and uploaded to his Snapchat page.
Did you see it?
The video has embarrassed Australians on the holiday island today.
The behaviour's terrible, disgusting. Yeah, boys! I wouldn't like to see that sort of behaviour back home, so I don't like seeing that sort of behaviour in Bali.
Ross Taylor from the Indonesia Institute, an organisation designed to promote relations between our two countries, says it goes beyond drunk, harmless fun.
I don't think I've seen anything as obscene as what I've just seen.
Mr Taylor says the antics are deeply disrespectful to the Balinese people.
Something like this is just seen with a mixture of offence, disdain.
Who these men are still isn't clear. The tour guide who filmed their antics wasn't answering our calls today. But Mr Taylor says they're lucky they weren't arrested.
I think most Australians like me wish they had been.
Rob Scott, 7 News.
Emotions were running high as convicted child killer Kathleen Folbig finished giving evidence at the judicial inquiry she hopes will clear her name. The family of her former husband has slammed the hearing, calling it unwelcome and unnecessary.
The reluctant reunion of Kathleen Folbig's supporters and her former family.
This chapter unfolding now, we feel, was unnecessary and most definitely unwelcome.
Today she broke down reading a letter she wrote to Craig about wanting to separate, while their fourth child, Laura, was still alive.
I only see sparks, and tiny ones at that. Sorry. Of the man that attracted me all those years ago.
It was Craig who handed over her disturbing diaries, evidence used to convict her.
When Craig told me he'd given them a diary, I didn't like that he had, but I hadn't placed too much importance on the fact that he did.
And she still believes supernatural powers claimed Caleb, Patrick, Sarah and Laura, not her.
I'm certainly not saying some ghost or entity or whatever came down and took my children. I'm saying that it follows along as a basis of trying to put together all of the mystical and spiritual beliefs I had at the time and I still have now.
What has been most devastating has been that in the end, the answer lay with Kathleen.
At the end of this judicial inquiry, retired Judge Reginald Blanche will ultimately decide whether or not the case should be returned to the Court of Criminal Appeal. Folbig's final hope, her convictions could be quashed, but a retrial could also be ordered. The Folbigs believe justice has already been served. Ashley Hansen, 7 News.
The first drug for children battling multiple sclerosis has been approved for use in Australia. Experts say it will be life-changing because up until now, young patients have been forced to use adult medication.
At just 16 years old, a diagnosis of MS came as a huge shock to Shannon Welsh.
I just really wasn't expecting it.
My dad was actually at the hospital with me when it happened, and we just had no idea that was coming.
Until now, children with the autoimmune disease have been treated using adult medications, but the TGA approval of a pill called Gilenya is set to change that.
When we used to see a child with multiple sclerosis, we would say we believe they're going to work, but we always a little bit uneasy to say that they're perfectly safe. Now we know clearly that this drug is safe. It works as well as it does in adults.
Many people believe MS only strikes adults, but children as young as 2 have been diagnosed with it. In fact, 1 in 10 people with MS experience their first symptoms before they turn 16.
They can now take a disease-modifying therapy that manages their disease, manages their symptoms, slows the progression, and is going to have an enormous impact on their life.
Now studying law, Shannon has a message to other young people who have MS.
It's just about looking after yourself and, listening to your body and what your body needs, but it's definitely not the end of the road.
Estelle Grieping, 7 News.
There was some commotion in the city this afternoon when 3 people were spotted scaling Sydney Tower hundreds of metres off the ground. Police were alerted with fears the climbers could be staging a dangerous protest. But it turns out it was nothing more than abseilers carrying out some routine painting. Sydney's property price slide is gathering pace with values down across all Sydney suburbs, but it's not all bad news. Next, why experts say there's a glimmer of hope. Also, got milk, why you could soon have it for much longer. The revolution in long-lasting fresh milk. Getting paid to shop, it's not a joke. We'll tell you how you can become a mystery shopper and earn cash.
Mild and cloudy today, rain west of the Divide, and there's more on the way.
Get ready. Britain's Got Talent is back. And this year, it's so much bigger. In the very first episode, an act so jaw-dropping, it will have you screaming out loud. New Britain's Got Talent, tomorrow 8:30 on 7.
Some moments in life are super rewarding, and now you can enjoy more of them with Qantas and Australian Super. Join the only super fund that earns new members Qantas points. Be rewarded today while you plan for tomorrow.
Mandarin, Mandarat. Mandarin, Mandarout. Easy to peel, fresh Aussie Imperial Mandarins are now on sale. Aldi, good, different.
Flopping and a flailing, flopping and a flailing, flopping.
We're flailing all right. Look at those smiles over there.
Seduced by the 3 years free schedule servicing on selected Tiguan models and a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty.
We should have stayed at Jacuzzi World.
I like it here.
Shut it.
Get some Volkswagen end of financial year satisfaction with 3 years free scheduled servicing on selected Tiguan models.
You don't like the view?
Volkswagen.
Black Opium, the eau de parfum, and the new eau de parfum intense. Yves Saint Laurent.
My store.
Nafia grew from our family traditions. My father was a mechanic for Ford Motors, and this new journey is all about him. The Mechanic & Sons is all about bringing joy and doing simple things really well. This modern PC from Harvey Norman does just that. It's been an essential tool for me as I'm always on the road. It's super fast to start up using Windows Hello. It's lightweight, portable, and with the all-day battery life, it just keeps running. Just like the cars my father used to service. This modern PC from Harvey Norman is definitely fueling our dreams.
Excuse me, Shenma Shi Wi-Fi Mima.
Seriously?
Wi-Fi password. Hold on, this is not working.
Password is
Wi-Fi?
XCEWL.
I don't think he's got it, Joey.
Ditch the Wi-Fi and travel fearlessly with Vodafone $5 roaming.
Go on, 2 please.
Checking the markets now, and the ASX 200 closed 50 points higher, driven by solid earnings from the major banks. The ANZ recorded a strong first half result, announcing a 2% rise in cash profit. And the Aussie dollar is buying 70.51 US cents. Fuel prices are continuing to fall across Sydney. The average is $1.45 a litre. We found regular unleaded as cheap as $1.33.8 at Guildford. There's more bad news for homeowners. Sydney property prices have fallen nearly 11% over the past year. Last month saw another significant decline, but experts say the worst could now be over.
We're seeing dwelling values were down by 0.7% in April, so quite I suppose a mild drop when you consider that values were falling by nearly 2% month on month back in December.
The downturn is partly being driven by consumer uncertainty ahead of the federal election. Australian brand Bega has won a peanut butter war, getting the exclusive rights to use yellow lids. Bega has been a long-running battle with American food giant Kraft, but the federal court ruled today in favour of the Aussie company. Investors welcome the news, with Bega shares up 8%. It's being billed as the biggest advance in milk since pasteurisation well over a century ago. Australian researchers have developed a new process that they claim keeps milk fresh for 60 days, with a taste far superior to long-life milk currently found on supermarket shelves.
It's world-first technology, which is quite literally milking it, keeping dairy goodness fresh and safe to drink for longer than ever before.
It tastes great longer than 60, but commercially 60 days, yes, tastes just the same as it did on day one.
Naturo founder Jeff Hastings is the brains behind the innovation. He says the process is more gentle than pasteurisation.
We're able to still kill all the nasties, all the bugs, but without the heat, which also kills the goodies in the milk.
The product's extended shelf life means it can be shipped rather than flown to markets around the world, including Japan, China, Malaysia, Singapore and Indonesia.
The beauty of that is it will enable us to give farmers a better farm gate price because the export market is a more profitable business for them, and help support our farmers that way.
The milk won't hit shelves for at least another 12 months, but the technology has been independently tested and approved by Dairy Food Safety Victoria.
We've already done it commercially, globally, with our avocado products that don't go brown for 10 days.
As for exactly how this technology works, that's something the company won't be revealing until well after the cows come home. Emily Arnold, 7 News.
Doctors have identified a new type of dementia that could be more common than Alzheimer's in older adults. The disease, called LATE or late, progresses more slowly than other forms of dementia and tends to affect people near the end of their lives. Researchers say the condition is often wrongly diagnosed as Alzheimer's and have issued new guidelines to help doctors recognise the condition. Imagine being paid to shop and eat at the best restaurants. Anyone can become a mystery shopper, and they're recruiting now. You can join the secret club and earn cash for doing what you love. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is back with sport, and I'm guessing Wayne Bennett won't be catching up with his old bosses tomorrow night.
No, it doesn't sound that way, Fergo. He's made it clear there hasn't been too much contact since he left the club. We'll hear from the Bunnies coach next. Plus, the Manly favourites aren't given the captaincy in DCE's absence, as players admit life is good under Des. And the Champions League Miracle Men draw first blood away at Tottenham in the first leg of their semi-final.
He was crazy. Completely crazy.
He lured a young backpacker into his insane world.
I was forced to drive with the gun to my head.
Held captive.
What did you think he would do? Kill me?
How Alicia survived the highway to hell.
So I just took the risk.
Sunday night's incredible true story, 8:30 on 7.
I've worked for around 50 years to fund our retirement. Now, with Labor's retiree tax on the horizon, I'm worried we might have to apply for the pension.
Labor, it's the bill Australia can't afford.
Authorised by AHERS, Liberal Party of Australia, Canberra.
Want to lower cholesterol by up to 9%? It's as easy as 1, 2. 2 of these Wheat Bix a day provides 2 grams of plant sterols, which are clinically proven to lower cholesterol by up to 9% in 4 weeks. Take 2 a day.
I've been shaking, I love it when you go crazy, you take all my
lies that tear up my reputation, manipulate my decisions. Baby, there's nothing holding me back.
The all-new Ford Focus ST Line hatch and wagon. Not just another small car.
At Godfrey's, we've got a solution for all your cleaning needs. Need a call the stick vac? This versatile iVac is just $95. Just $98 for this powerful Hoover bagless. And steam mops half price, just $49. Total cleaning solutions, but only Godfrey's.
Discover Bali and save up to 65% with 7 Travel. Enjoy 5 nights, flights and more from $799 per person. Call 1300 297 577 or visit 7travel.com.au.
A few days ago, James had neck pain. Then he discovered Voltaren Emel Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation. Voltaren Emel Gel, now available with a no-mess applicator.
If our family wasn't making Maver's peanut butter for all Australians, we'd be making it for ourselves. Just roast and crush fresh peanuts and add a dash of salt. It's nothing but goodness. Good morning.
Woolworths Earn and Learn is on again. Together, we can help local schools get the valuable equipment they need to help develop the great minds of tomorrow. Every time you shop at Woolworths, you'll earn 1 sticker for every $10 spent. So let's stick together, Australia, and turn stickers into new equipment for local schools.
That's why I pick Woolies.
I've worked for around 50 years to fund our retirement. Now, with Labor's retiree tax on the horizon, I'm worried we might have to apply for the pension.
Labor, it's the bill Australia can't afford.
Authorised by Ahurst, Liberal Party of Australia, Canberra.
Welcome back. Tension is building ahead of the grudge match between Wayne Bennett's Bunnies and Anthony Seibold's Broncos. Bad blood lingers between Bennett and his old club. The master coach revealing he hasn't spoken to Paul White since the Broncos boss sacked him via voicemail.
Rugby League's most bitter rivalry, Wayne Bennett versus the Broncos.
Living in a quiet part of Sydney, I've managed to keep myself pretty much away from it all this week.
Do you reckon you deserve a cut of the gate takings for tomorrow night?
No.
Bennett's handled the hype with ease, while Anthony Seibold's cracked under pressure, walking out of a press conference.
I'm not good at press conferences myself, so I'm not one to be given advice.
Bennett won 6 premierships for Brisbane, but his legacy was tarnished, sacked by the club he helped build.
What did I learn? Got another job next day and got on with life.
Bennett remains staunch enemies with Broncos boss Paul White.
Have you spoken to Paul White since he sacked you via voicemail?
No, I haven't. No.
Will you shake his hand and speak to him tomorrow night?
Well, as said, I'm not going to go too far into management, so I'll just leave it at that.
Seibold and Bennett don't hold each other in high regard either.
I don't think I was a mentor of his at that time. I didn't see a lot of him. He didn't play in the first grade squad.
I don't really know Wayne that well personally, but I've got no, I wish him all the best.
Behind the scenes, there's enormous tension between the two coaches. Today, Anthony Seibold warned Wayne Bennett against poaching his star centre, James Roberts.
Clubs shouldn't be talking to Jimmy if they are.
Oh, well, we've got to wait and see who wants to do what.
Liam Cox, 7 News.
It will be a big one tomorrow night. Well, while some clubs operate junior academies worth millions of dollars, John Morris has been nurturing the next generation of Sharks in a no-frills gym at Cronulla High. It's simple but effective. A host of young guns have already come through the system, including Bronson Xerri and Kyle Flanagan.
You know you're something special when current stars of the game are in order.
The local boy who can really scoot.
Just to have to say that I played alongside some of these young ones growing up and the potential that they can be.
An injury crisis at the Sharks has seen them dip deep into their pool of talent. A program former coach Shane Flanagan and current coach John Morris started 5 years ago.
It's just been great to have, to have that relationship with these kids and now bring them on and turn them into NRL players.
Coming through, John Morris was the coach of the high performance unit.
So it's unreal to see the boys develop and get to first grade.
This is where it all started for this current crop of youngsters. No multi-million-dollar academy, just this humble gym squeezed between two footy ovals at the back of Cronulla High. We saw Kyle Flanagan and Jaden Brayley debut last year. This year, Sherry, Blake Brayley, Will Kennedy, Ronaldo Militalo and Kiwi Britton Nakora have all graduated to the top grade.
It's obviously a dream come true, childhood dream. Even just to play with the players that we've got now.
We've got a lot of young boys that have come into the team and they've handled it.
It's quite exciting times, especially, to be honest, they're going to be really stars of the future.
Michelle Bishop, 7 News.
Jake Trbojevic will lead Manly while Daly Cherry Evans recovers from an ankle injury. After a shaky start, the players are loving life under Des Hasler.
At first I feared him heaps, but then as you get to know him, he's actually really funny.
The Sea Eagles host the Bulldogs at Brookvale on Saturday, chasing their 5th win in 6 matches now. 7 News can reveal Kieran Foran will not play despite returning to training after an ankle injury. Steve Smith has finished his IPL stint and will join Australia's World Cup training camp in Brisbane tomorrow. In his final game, Smith helped Rajasthan's Shreyas Gopal snare a dream hat-trick against Bangalore. The spinner removed Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers, then had Marcus Stoinis caught by Smith.
In the air, and it's a hat-trick! Getting two of the greatest players of all time out in consecutive balls, and then the dangerous Marcus Stoinis gone. Oh, what a moment.
It was huge. The match was later abandoned, though, due to wet weather. The Fairy Tale Champions League run for Ajax continues.
And a great chance, and it's taken by Van der Beek.
The Dutch club is 90 minutes away from a spot in the final after beating Tottenham 1-0 in the first leg of their semi-final in London. Fergo, it was a huge occasion at that new stadium at Tottenham Hotspur. Tomorrow morning, Barcelona-Liverpool. We're at the business end. Huge clash tomorrow.
Right at the very business end. Good on you, Mel.
Thanks.
You will be watching. Mystery shoppers have been around for years now. Doctors and dentists are using them too to sharpen their service and hopefully keep patients coming back. But how do you become a secret shopper? What's involved and what does it pay? Angie Asimus found out.
On angry customers from KFC comes an absolute zinger.
I've complained to the head office. I don't know how many times.
And while the customer's not always right, just how well are you being served?
Are you free?
It's being ignored. You might have, several questions about a product that's on the shelf or trying to find something, and you literally can't find anybody there.
I've had enough of this.
In a bid to avoid moments like that, stores are employing tactics like this. Phoebe is a mystery shopper collecting feedback on sales staff.
Suggest areas for improvement, perhaps. I'll let you know what you're doing really well.
Today she's at Urban Wear, where the aim of the game is exceptional in-store service to compete with online.
If you're giving them the experience that they love to be here, they're going to spend their money with you.
Anyone that's a normal customer can become a mystery shopper.
Register your details, complete some online training, then watch and wait for a job to come up. And it's not just shops. Doctors, dentists, restaurants and bars are now all using secret shoppers too. When the job's done, log back online and write your report.
The outside of the store, the inside of the store, how the service levels were, how the products were.
You'll be reimbursed for your purchase and paid for your time. Just beware the many secret shopping scams. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But if you've time to spare and love to spend, secret shoppers recruiting now. Angie Asimus, 7 News.
Our meteorologist David Brown joins us once again. Brownie, what can we expect for the weekend?
I think we'll see a burst of rather cool weather, Fergo, some coastal showers, local forecasts straight after the break.
The One Nation leader said she was devastated and disgusted by the controversies plaguing her party. We'll bring you the news, but we'll take some time to explain it and make you part of the conversation. Join me for the latest from 7 News.
This is such a game changer.
In the first ever early room reveal.
We need to win this.
Can the dream dressing room
Have a look at this.
wicked outshine the luxurious lounge?
Oh my God!
Which room will win?
So the winning room is?
New House Rules. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
I need your help.
After this, we are less than even.
What do you need?
Guns. Lots of guns.
You think you can take John Wick? You've got a nasty surprise coming.
John Wick 3 in cinemas May 16.
Harlem River, talk to me.
Harlem River, I'm in love, 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 love. All because of you.
Shaking, I love it when you go crazy. You take all my inhibitions, baby. There's nothing holding me back. You take me places that tear up my reputation, manipulate my decisions, baby. There's nothing holding me back.
The all-new Ford Focus ST line hatch and wagon, not just another small car.
How's the election going to affect you? Subscribe before you decide and get trusted news for just $12 for the first 12 weeks. Hurry, search Daily Telegraph offer.
I read the news today.
The Daily Telegraph, where for you.
Dishwashing doesn't have to be rocket science. Finish Power Gel. Dissolves fast, even on a short cycle. For a stunning clean, be blown away by Finish Fast Dissolving Gel.
Discover Thailand with 7 Travel. Enjoy 7 nights, flights and more at the Holiday Inn Resort Phuket from $1,199 per person. Book at 7travel.com.au or call 1300 297 577.
Now softer than ever, Solvent really is our favourite down under.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
You kept something this big from me.
Is he about to get everything he deserves?
You breaking up with me?
Home and Away, this week at 7.
The Sydney Crime Syndicate that forced up the price of every single insurance policy. The multi-million-dollar racket. Now 7 News will reveal who's behind it and the extraordinary sting that caught them out on 7 News tomorrow.
Tonight, 7 News headlines: a Sydney man found guilty of plotting to bring down a passenger plane out of Mascot with a bomb hidden in a meat grinder. A former American police officer has been found guilty of murdering Sydney woman Justine Damon Ruszczyk. A coroner has ordered a major overhaul of the state's stormwater inlets following the drowning death of an 11-year-old boy. And the election campaign is descending into chaos with 9 candidates across 3 parties now dumped. Now with the very latest on Sydney's weather, here's David.
Thanks very much, Fergo. Well, it's a dry and mild start to May this side of the Great Dividing Range. Patchy rain inland, and there's more in the wind tomorrow and Friday. Now at Observatory Hill, the mercury tapped out at 22.5 degrees. That happened mid-afternoon following a warmish night for this time of year. Afternoon maxima range from generally, well, low 20s, in fact 21 degrees all the way to 26 across the metro area this afternoon. Cooler high in the Blue Mountains. Katoomba maxed out with 19 degrees. The latest satellite data highlights, well, some patchy rain that's now running right along the western slopes of the Great Dividing Range. Upstream, though, here's the main change. You may have noticed a short time ago, sparking some thunderstorm activity. It's expected to drive areas of rain and thunderstorms as it pushes through tonight and tomorrow. And all of that activity, of course, is again west of the Great Dividing Range. You'll notice it's fine right along the coastal strip. But our future radar takes the rain all the way towards the northeast corner of our state during Saturday. Of course, it passes right over the top of us during Friday. Nationwide tomorrow, a few more showers are likely in Brisbane. Forecast top there of around 26 degrees. Melbourne, rain at times. Might even see a thunderstorm. 22 is expected. Cold and showery for Adelaide, around 17 degrees. Perth, well, fine, sunny, and a forecast top, 21 degrees. Back home, we're now tracking areas of rain and thunderstorms just sweeping across our state tomorrow. some big falls are possible right here along the cold front itself. The yellow zones potentially indicating severe thunderstorm activity. And of course, if we see that, we will get some very, very high rainfall totals. Closer in, well, it should be a touch warmer than today and somewhat cloudy too. Again, many centres ranging around the mid-20s, although 27 degrees is likely as we head towards the Greater Western. Winds north to northeasterlies, that's why the temperatures are up, and they should run at around about 15 to 20 knots over our coastal waters as well. We've got a low northeasterly swell running at around about 1 metre. A warm top of 26 degrees is expected in our city. Fine conditions, but cloudy at times. Let's move on to that 7-day forecast now. Periods of rain and the odd thunderstorm is likely during Friday. Temperatures generally around the mid-20s. Saturday, cooler, and in fact, cooler conditions right across the weekend. Just some coastal showers. It should be fine in the Greater Western. So that's latest weather. Rather pleasant mid-20s tomorrow, Mel and Fergo.
Tomorrow looking okay.
Certainly is.
Good on you, Brandy. Thank you. That's 7 News for this Wednesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.
7news.com.au. Happening now.